The idea number 6 from Stoicism, it's all about limiting the influence others have on you. Remember, the real essence of good is found only within the things under your control. And if you keep this in mind, you won't find yourself feeling envious, comparing yourself and your accomplishments to others. Stop aspiring to be anyone else besides your own self, because your own self is within your control. If anything, and if you want to compare within your own self a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Are you moving in the right direction towards the things that are important to you? That is a more worthwhile comparison, because then you can work on them. What you work on is totally up to your own power. What others do, it's not. The other thing is, when someone else seems to be provoking you, remember that it's only your judgment of the incident that provokes you. Imagine this. If someone were to casually give your body away to someone else, you would naturally be furious. You would never allow that. It seems preposterous, seems terrible, right? But I would argue that's actually what happens when someone provokes you, and then you will spend hours, minutes, days, hopefully not more than that, thinking about what the other person said or people said about you. So essentially in that situation, you are giving your mind away, you're giving your energy, your precious time, because of what someone else said about you. So that's how they can influence you and make you spend time. And the same as it's the body, here you're giving away your mind. So Stoics recommend think twice before you give up your own mind to someone else who may offend you, leaving you confused and upset. What they say is not on your control. And people will do unexpected things. They don't live up to the expectations you have. How you think of it, that's on your control. The other part is also that other people's views can be just, even if they are not provoking you, but the other people's views around you and troubles, they can be contagious. And don't sabotage yourself by just adopting what's around you, negative, unproductive attitudes, etc., by what others around you can influence. This has quite an influence, like the folks you surround yourself with, and the environment you are in, sometimes, which is not your choice, can be a little bit toxic, right? That's why there's this saying that you are the average of the 5 folks around you. Nevertheless, if you find yourself in a conversation with someone who is depressed, hurt, or frustrated, do show them kindness and a sympathetic ear. It's not about totally ignoring their feelings in that sense that you don't want to be dragged down. I think there's a value about helping others. That's one moral value which is up to your judgment, but I personally believe it's worthwhile. But don't let yourself be pulled down in a way too much. And in fact, I would argue that it's to the person you're helping best interests that you are in a good shape to be able to help them. If you're constantly pulled down by the weight of their things and you have that compassion that eventually influences you, you'll get to a point where you cannot help the other person anymore. So it is worthwhile to keep this in mind, not let yourself be dragged too much, but do show that sympathetic ear and compassion. And interestingly enough, I think a lot of the way the Stoics are viewed might be reflected by a little bit of this, right? When something happens, they try not to go into a spiral of emotion, right? They try to keep their coolness and accept things as they are, and think then on the next steps of what can you do now that this has happened. In the same way, the emotions about someone provoking you, it's all about understanding that you cannot stop what others say or cannot control, but you can control how you think about it and how much of that will you let it influence you. At the end of the day, attach yourself to what is spiritually superior, your guiding principles, regardless of what other people around you think or do. After you've taken into consideration what are the principles you care about, don't let others distract completely away from them. Sometimes you might go a little bit off the road with something that happens around you, but get back into the road of the principles you have and continue moving forward. So hold on to the true aspirations no matter what is going around you. That is idea number 6.